Okay, so today we will be talking about this lead code problem, group anagrams. So given an array of strings, group the anagrams together. You can return the answer in any order. So what is an anagram? An anagram is a word or a phrase formed by rearranging the letters of a different word or a phrase, typically using all the original letters exactly once. So let us take an example over here. This is an array which consists of so many strings. Now, if we see this string eat and see the string T. They both have three characters and same characters, although they are arranged differently. So this is what an anagram is. So if you see the output, there is uh, bat, which is just once, but we have nat and ten, which are anagrams. So we group them together. And we also have 8, eat, and t, which are also anagrams of each other. So we return them, we group them, and then we return them in the array. Okay. So now what is our approach? Our approach should be what we can do. What we can do is either we can, convert all the strings in this array one by one into an array, sort it, then join it, and then figure out which all the strings are equal. This is going to be a high time consuming problem. Okay, because we'll have to first sort each individual string into an array, and then we'll have to call a loop for probably two for loops. First on this item and the inner loop for all the items, and then check whether this string is equal to any of the strings. If they are equal, then insert it into an array, and then later on group all those arrays together and return. So this is going to be like a complex solution, but there has to be another approach. So another approach would be because we are because if you see the strings are consisting of all the lowercase English letters. That means we will have all the characters between A and Z. So what we can do is we can for each string we can have an array consisting of 26 characters, an array of size 26. Why? To store the count of occurrences of each character. So if we have to consider eat over here, okay, what we can do is we can store over here A will be over here A, the count of A will be 1, then B will be 0, C will be 0, D will be 0, then E will be 1, so on and so forth till T, which is going to be 1 followed by Z. So all the remaining characters would be 0. Just for example purpose, I am just mentioning it like this. Okay. So this will be our array, which will have which will have this kind of uh, data. So this will be, for example, let's say this is for eat. Now similarly for t, this will be the same array. Even t will have the same situation because of t, e, and a. And similarly for 8, we will have this same kind of array. Okay, so we will have to create an array of size 26 to store the occurrences of the characters. Now, when we loop through this, and what we can do is we can store this as a key, okay, in our lookup object. So we will have a object that will have a key as this. This is going to be our key. Okay, ultimately this becomes a string in JavaScript. Okay, we convert it into a string, and then it will have an value which will be of type array. So if the object is empty, the first iteration we get it. What we can do is we can store this, and over here we can store it. Next time, if we encounter t and we say that okay, this object is already present, this key is already present in our object, so we can just push it to this uh, value in the array, and then we can store it similarly. So this will be one key along with this array object. Similarly for bet, the key would be something different. So for bet it has A, then it has B, and then it has uh, somewhere here in the middle T followed by this. So this will be our key for bet, and then we can store bet over here. Okay, and then at the end what we can do is we can loop through this object and then return in our, we can create an output array and then just start inserting the values into that array. And so we get an array which has groups of anagrams. Okay, so let us write a solution for this. Okay, so uh, first what we can do is we can have uh, a lookup. We just call it lookup because I have been using this word uh, many places. We will have a key which is going to be of type string, and then we will have an array which will consist of all the strings. Okay, so this is where we will start inserting our. Now we need to run a loop on the strings array. I equal to 0, I less than strs dot length, and I plus plus. So we are going to run a loop on it. And now for each item in this array, we will have a frequency array. So we can say const frequency array, which is going to be of type number over here, which will be equal to new array consisting of 26 characters, which we will fill with 0. So all these 26 characters will have 0 as its initial value. Okay. Now what we have to do is we have to start inserting these characters in this character count in our frequency array. For that, what we do is we get the ASCII value of these characters. So we know that small letter A, and we can find out, but we know that small letter A starts at ASCII value 97, then B becomes 98, so on and so forth till Z. I think Z will be like 120 or something because there are 27 characters, so it's going to be like 122 or 121. I don't know, but yes. So we know that 97 is like the first character that we want to consider. So what we can do is we can say frequency of for okay, and now we will have to run a for loop on this strs. Okay, so we'll have to say for let j equal to 0, j less than strs of I dot length j plus plus, and we have to start filling our frequency array. So frequency of strs of I of j, the first character over here. So we will, what we are doing is we are doing a for loop on strs array. Then we come here, we get the first value it. So what we do is for it, we are creating a frequency array and we are storing all the values, initializing it to 0. Then we'll have to run a loop on this it, one character at a time. Okay, so we run a for loop on this it over here, and then we store in our frequency array strings of it. So e is going to be at position dot to char code of 0 minus 97. Uh, is it char code at? Yes. So this char code at on the 0th position on this character e will give the character code, and then we are subtracting it with 97. So we'll get over here the answer over here on the frequency we'll get 0 is going to be A, B is going to be 1, C is going to be 2, D is going to be 3, and E is going to be 4. So the fourth character frequency of the fourth index would be plus equal to 1. Okay, so we are storing count of each characters over here. Now what we need to do is we need to convert this frequency to string. This array we need to convert it into a string, and then we need to store it in our check in our lookup object. Okay, so this lookup object, if this key is present over here, then what we need to do is we need to push this string in the array. So initially the array there would this would be undefined because first time this is going to be undefined. So we need to somehow figure out a way. So if this is present, then we directly concatenate our strs of I. But if it is not present, then we initialize it to an empty object. So, sorry, in empty array. So when we initialize it to an empty array and then we concat, so basically we are just adding this string to the array over here, over here. Okay. So this is like our first iteration for the, the string it. Now next, in the next iteration, it comes over here. We reinitialize our frequency to an array of 26 elements, fill it to 0. Then we run a for loop on this characters T, E, and A. And then we find out on which index we have to add 1 to it. And then we convert this frequency into a string so that we can store it as a key to our lookup object. And then we just push this string T to this object. Okay, so our first two strings it and T will be stored in an key, same key, but in an array. Now it would become very easy to just output this. Okay, so now our output situation. What we have to do is we have to say const output. We'll just initialize it to an array consisting of a string, an array of strings which has groups of which has another array because we want to store groups over here. If you see this, we are storing one array, another array, and then array. So this array has an items which are of array type. Okay. Now we need to loop through this lookup object. So for that, what we can do is we can use in loop. So for let key in our lookup object, and then what we can say is uh, output dot push. We can say lookup of key, because we directly want to just push the values of each key, because they are already in the form of an array. So we're just going to push it to this output array, and then we can directly return this output. Okay. So for now, we have already crossed like 15 minutes, but this is how the solution should look like. Let us run and see if we have got it right. All right, so all our test cases have been accepted. Let us submit this. Okay, so this is the answer has been accepted. This was quite an intense and difficult problem per se, but if we just go by the way how JavaScript works and how we can, utilize this array as a key to an object, this becomes quite easier to solve. Thank you.